Yesterday was a bloodbath for the Democrats. It was basically Demopocalypse or Demageddon to the max. There's no question about it. It was worse than 2010. They got owned in governor's races, Senate races, and House races. The House may be the worst aspect of it all. So that's actually the most right-wing it's been since the 1940s now. That's how thorough of an ass-whooping the Republicans put on the Democrats. So in the Senate, the GOP will have at least 52 seats. By the way, these numbers are all going to go up because I'm just giving you the sure things as of this morning, and there are still open seats where they're finishing up, counting the votes and whatnot. So that's going to go up, but they have at least 52 seats. In the House, it'll be at least 243 seats, more likely about 250 seats, which, again, is the most since 1946. And in terms of governors, they have at least 31. So a strong majority in the country now, they have Republican governors. And again, the votes are still being counted, so the numbers aren't final. They're subject to change, most likely to change in the direction of the Republicans. And that's the numbers I gave you are the best case scenario. 243 in the House, 52 in the Senate, 31 governor seats. So here are some of the winners to give you an idea of how depressing this whole situation is. Joni Ernst, a woman who ran ads discussing pig castration, won by almost 10 points. Mitch McConnell, the turtle man, who is universally disliked in every poll around the country when he's governing, he won by about 15 points over Allison Lundergan Grimes. Paul LePage, the governor in Maine who is running for re-election, he literally tried to bring back child labor. He won. Michael Perukta is a guy who won, I think, a state seat in Maryland. You ready for this? I hope you're sitting down. He's a neo-Confederate. So we have people winning in the United States of America who are open about the fact that they don't believe in the United States of America. What a disaster of an election this is. Tom Cotton is a Republican who said ISIS is working with Mexican drug cartels to attack Arkansas. He won. David Perdue in Georgia is a guy who bragged and said he was proud that he outsourced jobs personally. This guy won. Representative Michael Grimm in New York, a Republican, he's facing a 20-count indictment in New York, and this is the guy that on camera threatened to throw a reporter off of a balcony. This guy won. Rick Scott won in Florida. For those of you who don't know the story of Rick Scott, he's a criminal. Rick Scott is a guy who opened up a company that does drug testing, and then when he's governor, he tries to pass a bill that mandates drug testing. The guy just went into government to personally enrich himself. He's one of the most corrupt, if not the most corrupt politicians, not only in America right now, but in American history. This guy won. This guy won. Now, the person running against him, Charlie Crist, maybe this is one of the reasons why Rick Scott won. This guy used to be a Republican, and then he became a Democrat, and then he ran against Rick Scott. Now, that was a close race, and there's an open question in terms of how bad the situation was screwed up in terms of voter suppression. There's a lot of stories saying there was voter suppression in Florida. So it may be the case, similar to Al Gore and George Bush, that Crist actually won, just like Al Gore actually won in 2000. But either way, in the final tally, or the reality of it, is that Rick Scott ends up getting the governorship back. How about Mike Bost? Mike Bost in Illinois is a Republican who killed a beagle. He not only won, he took a seat that was Democratic for over 70 years. It's going to keep getting worse and worse. I'm not done yet. You're probably there, how the fuck can it get? Listen to these barbarians and savages and lunatics that won. How could it get worse? You ready? You know the guy that we talk about all the time, that Right Wing Watch tracks pretty closely because he's one of the most insane people in the country, Gordon Klingenschmidt? Yeah, I just went there. You know what happened with him? He won a seat in the Colorado State House. The guy is an exorcist. He won a seat in the Colorado State House. It may be time to pack up this whole America experiment thing. Not sure it's going to work out in the long run. We're voting for literal exorcists. Actually, I don't even know if you could call anybody a literal exorcist, because exorcism is not a real thing. It's not a real thing. But this guy who thinks he can do exorcisms won. And my favorite, I saved my favorite for last year. You remember Scott Desjardins? Scott Desjardins, of course, is a congressman in Tennessee. And he's a Republican who ran on a pro-life platform. When he was a congressman, you know what he did? He had multiple affairs, and he also told his mistress to get an abortion. He also told his wife to get an abortion, too. So a pro-life, family values Republican has multiple mistresses. One of them he tells to get an abortion, tells his wife, who he's cheating on, to also get an abortion. Reelected by a landslide. I can't tell you how depressing this is. This is beyond depressing. And I'm mad at everybody. I have to be honest. I'm mad at everybody in this scenario. I'm mad at the Republicans because they're lunatics. I'm mad at the Democrats for running such terrible, impotent, ineffectual campaigns. I'm also mad at the people. Sorry, America. I'm so angry at the population. I'm really mad at young people, too. I saw the numbers. 67% of people in America over the age of 60 voted. Old white men across the board voted. You know who didn't vote? Young people. 30% of people under the age of 30 voted. This is why we lost. Because the people who care the most and who are most excited to partake in the political process, they're old white men who sit there and listen to Rush fucking Limbaugh. So maybe we deserve what we got. The country's certainly worse off, but maybe we can learn a lesson from this, and next time actually go vote, and next time maybe the Democrats will run better campaigns, and next time maybe we won't be thoroughly embarrassed around the world because we're electing people who think they're doing exorcisms, neo-Confederates, and criminals.